The last 10 days has been insane as we've done due diligence on this 16-unit apartment complex. And today we're going to talk about the ups, the downs, everything that went into due diligence and then negotiation after, and where we ended up. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Before we do, today's video is sponsored by the CDS Grand Teton Retreat, which we only have 12 spots left. So if you've been thinking about coming, connecting with other great investors, coming and touring a bunch of properties that I've purchased in the last year and a half, seeing the negotiations, the numbers, going boating, going up to the Grand Tetons, eating great food, and hearing from some of the best real estate investor speakers around, now is your last chance to jump on it. If that sounds like something you're interested in, click the link below. We'll schedule a call with me and see if you're a good fit. All right, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you on this one. This due diligence window beat me up. I was super excited about this property, and then we ran into some things that were difficult, discouraging, ups, downs. We had to get tons of people in to dive into the problems. And it's interesting because for as many problems financially as there were that we ran into in due diligence, I still feel that this deal is phenomenal, but it has been a roller coaster and I was very close to backing out completely. And I'm gonna walk you through all of it. And I think the one thing that I would say with this due diligence process is they're never easy. Now, with that being said, doing it on the 16 unit, I had to make probably just as many calls as I would have on a duplex to go and get everything checked out. Now, the inspection took way longer. Some of the things that we ran into took longer, but overall, this is why buying multifamily, especially in the niche between 5 and 50 units, is my favorite spot to be, because your workload is about the same as the smaller properties, but you're not competing against the big dogs and you're not competing against all of the new investors. And so I love deals like this. They don't come around very often, and when they do come around, it is an emotional roller coaster and a ton of work. Once we get it under contract and I pass it off to management, that is where everything is good with the world. So we're gonna run you through everything that happened this last 10 days. It's gonna be exciting. You're gonna learn a lot. I've learned a lot. So with that being said, let's do it. Okay, so first things first, in the previous video, we walked you through this unit. The unit was super, super clean and got me really, really excited about this property. Now, I knew not every unit was going to be that way. I just didn't know what I was going to run into. I think as well with this property, because it's so clean and well kept on the outside, I just got really excited and maybe overlooked the reality that you run into stuff in due diligence with a building that was built in the 70s. It's just kind of what happens. The first thing that I didn't even notice the first time looking at this property, but we picked up in inspection, is right up here. So if you can see, this is newer stucco, but it is falling off. And it's having issues and bubbling up. There are a couple places like this. The other thing you'll notice is the roof seal is not good. We got multiple roofing bids, which doing in a 10-day due diligence window can be complicated. We got them up here, we got multiple opinions, and the roof is shot. And the reason the roof is shot is because these roofs are made to last somewhere between 15 and 25 years. They tell them it's a 25-year roof, but the reality is this has been here almost 19 years. And because of that, the roof is just shot. It's old, it's done. There's moisture underneath and there's some other damage with it. And that plays into a bunch of other issues that we potentially run into. But now I have a massive expense of a roof that 100% I have to take care of in the next 3 years, and most likely this year. Because heading into the winter, do you want to gamble on a roof that is shot and then end up with all the water issues that you might end up with inside? And so that was a big punch in the gut, and something that we had to try and figure out with the seller. We're going to talk all about that in a minute. So I brought you into this garage. Every one of the garages look like this. This again is the membrane roof, which in my experience with real estate, membrane roofs, they're scary, they're frustrating. You end up having to deal with them. You can see a lot of the water damage that has come in here. Now this is outside in the garage. It's not a massive concern, but it is a way to show how much moisture we're getting under this roof and give you an idea of the problems on the main roof as well. The roof just wasn't done super well either. As I brought out roofers, they said, yeah, like this roof just wasn't done properly, and yet it still has survived almost 19 years. And so when you're seeing a lot of this water, it's just something that's what we're seeing everywhere. We also had them take plugs and notice that we're already getting some moisture and some other issues under there. And so the roof is a massive expense. Now my first bid, I think it came back at like $150,000, $160,000 for the roof. The sellers kicked back, rightfully so, because so much of this property is in really good shape. This is not a shot on the seller at all. It's just a roof that wasn't done properly that has lasted a really long time and is at the end of its life. They sent out other bids. We got multiple bids. We got to the point where getting a new roof is probably going to be $120,000, $130,000 after getting those bids. And then there are some other things we're hoping we can be creative. Also, I'm hoping my roofer doesn't watch this, but I'm hoping that I can beat them up, and we'll talk about what we ended up getting back for the roof as a credit. And then I'm gonna have a whole nother set of negotiations working with the roofer to try and get that taken care of. But going into a property that we had at 1.55 million at a cash on cash return that we believe was gonna be pushing 12%, and then realizing that we're gonna have another $130,000 bill, that's a lot. Now, one thing, these windows, you can see they're all new vinyl. And originally when we came out, I thought, great, we've got new windows. We don't have to beat them up on that. Some of them had moisture in between the panes. It's not a huge thing, but those ones do need to be replaced eventually. But as far as the heat, the only thing it really does that's problematic for the tenants is it leaves them in a place where the windows just look ugly. So there are a couple of those that we've got to worry about. But the bigger concern with the windows is they obviously felt the need to replace all of those when they have, I went to the wrong side of the building.
A few moments later.
All right, guys, I had to look around and figure out where these were. We had them in the inspection and we had them come and get bid. But if you see in here, these windows are very difficult to replace. They are also the old aluminum windows. They're the ones that haven't been replaced. And we also found some moisture issues around them. So we had to get those bid out because there's something that needs to go. We also have a couple of sliding windows that are letting moisture in, that we had to get those bid. And then finally, as we went through the units, a lot of these tenants have been here forever, but we did find some water damage issues. That always piques concern and worry, and it's something that needs to be replaced at some point. And so we put bids together for that. Replacing all of that was gonna be another $30,000 or $40,000. Windows, for the ones that are still aluminum or not working properly, was another $10,000. So as you can see, things are starting to rack up. Now with my crew, we can cut a lot of those expenses, but that money's coming from somewhere. We also have a cool relationship with the city. We're on the window bid. I'm hoping we can work something out because to get the more energy efficient windows, a lot of times they're willing to cut us a break. We're gonna dive into all of the numbers of that, but once we put this all together, it ended up being a quite large sum of work that needed to be done on this property. So now I'm gonna run you through things. During due diligence, you want to start off by getting all of the information that you can. And so we're gonna put these two pictures up here. This is what I ask for, and these are all the things that I wanna get. Now, I've been going through leases, going through rent rolls, profit and loss, making sure I check up on taxes, insurance, utilities, anything else that's gonna throw off my numbers, anything else that's gonna throw a red flag into the property. The next big thing is the inspection. Now, we went through the inspection. It was very detailed. There are lots of things you kind of have to overlook because it's a building that was built back in the 70s. So you're going to have little leaks, cracks, GFIs that need to be replaced, all of those things. For me, we put together a big list of those that it's like, all right, are we gonna have to spend for this? Yes, but to some degree, can we plug this into our maintenance and just take care of it so that we're not beating up the seller and we're trying to form a good relationship so that they'll meet us on the things that are absurdly expensive. So that was our strategy. We put together a big list of all of the things we know we're going to have to do immediately. Then we put together a list of the things where it's like, hey, if this deal is going to go through, we need help from the seller. Those big hitter items were the roof, the windows, and the water damage from the past that we knew if we're gonna have to put in a new tenant, we're gonna have to go in and replace those things. Now, putting these bids together is tricky because I want to be honest, but also when we're doing it, are we going to try and find the best way possible to mitigate our expense? Yes. So we got all legitimate bids, but we got the first time bids before I go back and try and beat them up. The reason that I do this is, and this always happens, the seller is never going to give you what you ask for, but you have to justify what you're asking for. So it's really a game of cat and mouse of like, hey, this is the stuff we want done, but are these bids that then I can go back and attempt to beat them up? Yes. And I know that seems like a weird game, but it's just the game we play, and it played just as we expected. So I put things together. I asked for $186,000 on this property. That was $135,000 for the bid, which they came back with a roof bid at $135,000 after they found a different roofer compared to my original because I was going to start even higher, but we had a conversation. The next one was the windows of $9,700, and then all the renovations we knew we were going to have to take on if tenants leave, and a lot of those before tenants leave because there was some active water. That was for $41,600. That gave us a total of $186,300. Now, as you can imagine, being a seller, getting the property under contract, first of all, we did come in at full asking price because we felt like their asking price was competitive, and they knew that. And so we got in before anybody else and we locked the property up. Now, paying full asking price though, my numbers worked right there. Any of this extra stuff we knew we were going to need to get help on to make the numbers work. Did we have a little bit of margin? We're at a 12% cash on cash return. Am I happy with a 10% on a property like this? 1000%. So we maybe had a little bit to give up, and we're going to talk about it because we did give that up. We asked for 186,000. They came back knowing 100% the roof needed to be replaced and said, hey, we don't want to pay for all the roof. We will give you 100,000. I was excited about this, but at the same time disappointed because when you dive into it, you know this other money is going to go. Now, in full transparency, the windows aren't urgent. We can add them into our expenses. We can change them over time. Even some of the renovations aren't urgent. I would say maybe $10,000 to $20,000 that we need to do more on the front end. But again, if we do those, we're going to be able to increase rents and those come around as well. The big thing was that $135,000 roof. The thing is you plan on CapEx, and if we put on a new 25-year roof, we're looking at that saying, hey, this is a home run, because that's CapEx we're still going to plan for, but we're starting from ground zero with a brand new roof. They already had new water heaters. They've got a lot of other updates. And so now it's just trying to figure out with CapEx expenses what we're okay with. And I go back and forth. Would I have taken the $100,000 gun to my head? I don't know. I really didn't want to. I felt like they needed to get closer. I went with the roofer and attempted to beat them up from their $135,000. They were willing to work with me. And at the end of the day, we are really, really close to essentially being in the place where they are covering the entirety of the roof and the rest of the stuff I'm going to take on. Now, I think both me and the seller left feeling a little bit like we wanted more. And I think that's where, you know, it's a good negotiation and both parties ended up being in a place that they want. They come up a little bit more after I held strong. They paid $110,000, and I'm hoping into the roof we're somewhere after we have some back and forth between 110 and 120,000 with some options we're looking at with multiple roofers. That means we get a new roof, the other expenses we put into our general maintenance, and hopefully we're good because the new water heaters, the new roof, with our CapEx being where it needs to be, and this deal still being well over 10% and hopefully still pushing a 12, depending on where we can get rents. There are lots of solid tenants in here, and I don't want to come in and jack up their rents. I want to figure out a way to work with them and be reasonable and fair. And so getting to that stabilization, we're going to see how long that takes. But even with the current rents, we're in a place where we're cash flow positive and we're extremely happy with this deal. Now, this is the part of real estate investing that is interesting because everyone says, Chandler, what is a good deal? And this is why it's so crucial for you to figure out what a good deal is for you. Now, the other thing, we got this property under contract at what I believe to be a great deal, had it had a new roof. I think a lot of other investors get to that point and you have to decide, are you going to walk? I honestly mean this when I say it. Had they not come back with the roof in a place where I felt like the vast majority of it was covered, I was going to have to walk from this deal. And I think interestingly enough for me and my criteria and how strict I've been and how strict I will always be regardless of interest rates is making sure that I do not drop below that 10% cash on cash return when I'm looking at the numbers conservatively. And we were right there on that number with this property. Now, emotionally, I was very attached to this property, but I had to be in a place where I was willing to walk away if we didn't get what we needed. And I lost sleep over it because I love getting another 16 units and being in the place that we could have been on this property. But would it have sucked to walk away? Yes, but you've got to know where your numbers are. You've got to hold strong. And luckily for us, they were willing to meet us there and make it happen. Now, guys, I want to be really careful how I do this because, again, we still have to get to the closing table on this property. And there's a lot more information that I'm going to share and dive into. But due diligence was exhausting. We walked all of the units. We went through with an inspector. We got the roof inspected. We got the water damage inspected. We had to dive into all of the things, and we'll talk about it more. But this is the one part of these deals that can make or break you. And if you get so emotional and tied up that you're not willing to walk away, that is where bad deals are made. And if I'm honest, I am ecstatic that we made it through and we're able to settle with the seller in a place where I think for both of us, it's a win. And I'm so excited to see what we can do with these units, this property, and overall the returns on it as time goes by. And I'm really excited to get a new roof on there so that there's no liability or risk for the tenants, water damage, and other things for this beautiful property. I said I would show you this entire process. You can tell I am tired. I am preparing for the CDS Grand Teton Retreat. I somehow got wrapped up into launching 2 new businesses in the last 2 months. And all of that information I've kept quiet, but I'm going to share on the channel. We've got this property under contract. We have a potential partnership with Anthony on the other property that we've been figuring all of that out. I'm sure we'll share more with that on the channel, and then preparing for the CDS Grand Teton Retreat. That retreat is going to be incredible. We already have over 30 of the spots filled. We're down to just the last couple spots. So if you've been thinking about it and you want to get in the right rooms with the right people, you want to come and see these properties and open up the books and, I don't know, see it, feel it, touch it, understand everything you need to pull the trigger, to have the confidence to move forward and chase your goals with building your own portfolio, this is your last chance to jump on it. Push the link down in the description. And if you enjoyed this video on due diligence and diving into the nitty-gritty side of things, or if you have any other questions, this series isn't over. Make sure you let me know what your questions are in the comments, and I'd love to answer them for you. Again, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, hit the little bell, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks, guys.